blood of heroes.
Now, this woman will lead him back.
We could play a team from the league.
Theirs will be a journey through a gauntlet of time and trial.
Get her loose!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the classic 1989 Rutger Hauer sci-fi action film, The Salute of the Jugger. The film was also known as The Blood of Heroes in some territories. The film is written and directed by David Webb Peoples, and it stars, of course, Rutger Hauer, Joan Chen, Delroy Lindo, Anna Katarina and Vincent D'Onofrio. Now, the film is set in a post-apocalyptic future. The planet is desolate, basically, now. Any kind of society worth anything lives underground. But those living above ground scrape by. And the only real form of entertainment is through the Juggers. And it's a sport, a really brutal sport, that was invented to entertain the crowds. Essentially, you've got a number of people on the team. You've got 5 people on the team, and the idea is to get like a sheep's skull and pop it on the pole on the other opponent's side of the pitch. You have 100 stones 3 times in order to win, but once the match starts, essentially there's no rules. You've got a quick, which essentially is a runner, whose job is to do that. You've got people that are like defenders, people that are protectors, and it is just brutal. People get seriously injured and even killed playing the sport. Rutger Hauer's team end up basically early in the film needing a new quick. And Joan Chen's character, Kida, believes she's the one. She believes she's got the talent to join the team. She manages to convince them and joins them. And it turns out that she wants the attention of the league, the underground league, where the best of the best perform the sport. Rutger Hauer's character used to be part of that league, but he was banished over a woman. And the only chance they have is to go to the underground city and challenge the Juggers there to a match. But the chances of them actually winning one of these matches are incredibly slim. Right, what are my thoughts on The Salute of the Jugger? Well, this has always been, I think, one of Rutger Hauer's underrated gems. But I have to be honest, I do remember the first time I saw this film back in the day, I was disappointed with it. And I remember that sense of disappointment when I first watched the film. But it's one of those films that as I've matured as a person, I've come to appreciate more and more. And in actual fact, it is an excellent film with, you know, some surprising cast members. I mean, I completely forgot that Delroy Lindo was in this film, and Vincent D'Onofrio. You know, impressive actors when you consider their body of work since this film came out. Now, Rutger Hauer is one of my personal favourite actors. Sadly passed away, obviously, a few years ago. So I thought what I was going to do was revisit some of my favourite actors' films in their back catalogue and review that I haven't reviewed on the channel before. And this was the first one that I wanted to do from Rutger Hauer's back catalogue. Because I am so fond of it. It's made very, very well. It's a perfect like post-apocalyptic film. The world feels very real, very genuine, and very harsh place to live and survive. And this sport that everybody has learnt to embrace is one of the most brutal you will ever see on screen. It looks absolutely horrific, and why would anybody want to play this sport? When you watch it, you just keep thinking that. Why would anybody want to play it? And there's this myth, you know, if you can get to the underground cities and play this sport, you know, at the best, most elite standards, you know, you've made it. But for me, once they get to the underground city, I think this is something that the film portrays really well. once they get there, and it's like a massively long ride in the lift to kind of get down there. I think, it's hours of a trip. But once they get in this underground city, it ain't no palace, it ain't no paradise. It's fairly grim itself, but that goes to show that how difficult a world it is to live in now. Where people would consider the underground cities to be the absolute best in regards to luxury, but you and I would consider it an absolute dump still. So I think it's fascinating how it presents this world and the world building that it does. You really do believe the world that this film is set in, and that's only, I think, propped up by the performances, because we've got very good actors in this film. Number one, Rutger Hauer. I personally have always felt like Rutger Hauer has been underrated as an actor. If you look at some of his performances in obviously his high-profile films, but still, when you look at his performances in films like this, he is just brilliant, because he's got this quiet intensity about him. He doesn't say a great deal in this film, but he doesn't need to say a great deal in this film. He's got this great on-screen presence. He's always had it. And it's no different here. He's really, really good here, as is everybody else. You've got Joan Chen, who actually went on to star with Rutger Hauer in Wedlock, which is another film I'm going to revisit at some point soon. Again, she's really good. She holds the screen. You don't necessarily initially believe that she's going to be a really good player in this sport, but she turns out to be fantastic, fearless, heroic, and a real strong warrior of a character. And then you've got Delroy Lindo's character and the others, and Vincent D'Onofrio's character, who initially you think is going to be a bit of a snivelling coward, but turns out to be quite the opposite. And I like them all. And what I really liked about this film as well is it depicted these juggers. Most of them were disfigured, massively scarred. Some of them have lost limbs, eyes. Rutger Hauer's character loses an eye in this film, but still they keep playing, sort of thing. It's what they do, but it's grotesque to look at some of the injuries and scars that these characters have got on their physiques and bodies. And Delroy Lindo's got like these massive scar down one side of his face. So I think the practical effects here and the makeup to kind of make these athletes, if you like, or juggers, look like they've been through the absolute wars, I think it's very, very impressively done. And I just think the whole setup of the film, and there's some really fantastic cinematography going on here. It's one of those films that you could kind of look at it as a B movie at the time when it came out, but I think it's matured into a really fine cult classic as far as I'm concerned, and definitely one of Rutger Hauer's strongest films of the time. And I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. If you can find it. I don't actually know if it's ever been released on Blu-ray or DVD. I haven't really checked. So maybe you guys can tell me that in the comments. I would be interested to pick this up myself on one of those formats. But yeah, Salute of the Jugger or The Blood of Heroes, depending on which territory you're in. Either way, it's worth checking out. It's definitely a Rutger Hauer classic. Let me know, guys, in the comments if there's any Rutger Hauer films that you really want me to cover. I've made a long list of films in his back catalogue that I want to review. So I have reviewed some already on the channel. I've done things like The Hitcher and Wanted Dead or Alive. I think I've done on the channel a couple of bits and pieces here and there, but I want to do some of his ones in his back catalogue that I hadn't thought to do before, and there's even a handful of them that I've never seen, which I'm really quite interested to check out, see if they're actually half decent. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, of any underrated hidden gems that you think Rutger Hauer's done, and I will of course be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.